Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is Martin Luther King, Jr., and we're fortunate to have with us this morning to talk about Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr., Dr. LBaldwin. Dr. Baldwin is a professor at Vanderbilt University in the Department of Religious Studies. And Dr. Baldwin, let me welcome you to the show this morning.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Dr. Baldwin, you know, quite recently, a hearing was held in Memphis concerning the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King and the possibilities of having a reopening of, having another trial for James Earl Ray. But now, and we'd like to talk about that today, dealing with Dr. Martin Luther King. But before we get into that, Dr. Baldwin, let's talk about Dr. LBaldwin and have Dr. LBaldwin give us some information about his background and his education and some of the other information that has led many to proclaim Dr. Baldwin to be one of the foremost scholars on Dr. Martin Luther King in the United States of America. So let's talk about your background and your education, Dr. Baldwin.
Okay. I grew up in a little town called Camden, Alabama, which is located in the heart of the Alabama Black Belt, or the so-called Black Belt in Alabama. I attended the public schools there. I finished high school in Camden, Alabama in 1967, and I matriculated at Talladega College in Talladega, Alabama. And it was at Talladega that I actually got involved in some of the activities connected with the civil rights movement, some of the sit-ins and some of the demonstrations and so forth. And that sort of triggered in me an interest in Dr. King, an interest in Ralph Abernathy, and the many others, Malcolm X, who were involved in the civil rights movement. So I grew up in rural Alabama, the son of a Baptist minister who was involved on some level in the activities that were going on there. My parents were uneducated, but they did promote the importance of education. So I made it through the public school system there and went to Talladega. And I graduated at Talladega in 1971 with a degree in history. I left Talladega and I matriculated at Crozer Theological Seminary. And of course that was a seminary that Dr. King was a student at in the late 1940s, early 50s. I pursued the M.A. degree in church history and the Master of Divinity degree in theology at Crozer. I received the M.A. in 1973 and the M.Div in 1975. And from Crozer, I went to Northwestern University in Evanston, Illinois, and I pursued the Ph.D. in American religion, receiving that degree in 1980. Since that time, I've been pretty much involved in the teaching ministry, as I like to describe it. I've taught at Colgate University in Hamilton, New York, Crozer Theological Seminary in Rochester, New York, Worcester College in Worcester, Ohio, and I'm currently a professor in the Religious Studies Department at Vanderbilt.
Very good. Dr. Baldwin, you know, when we talk about Dr. Martin Luther King, I think that there's so much that can be said about King from almost any perspective,
yes,
nationally or internationally. But let's have you, from now up until our first commercial break, to sort of give us a summary of Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. That is, to perhaps